Hello and welcome to Rosberry Crafts, my YouTube channel where I share all my crafty adventures. Today is February 28th, 2025, and this is episode 127. My name is Roz and I live in Lake Country, British Columbia, Canada with my husband and my two kids who are 14 and 13. Today for you, I have a what am I wearing / finished object and a bunch of whips. And that's it. I have no books, I have no stash, I have nothing else. Let's get into it. First, I would like to say welcome to any new viewers. I hope you like this corner of the crafty internet, and welcome back to all my returning viewers. I had so many comments last week. It was so nice. It makes my day anytime somebody wants to chat with me here on YouTube or on Instagram or in Discord or an email. I also have my Ko-fi account linked if you're feeling generous. It's not required at all. This podcast is free for a reason, but if you feel like donating, it's there. All right, there's my spiel. Let's get on to what am I wearing / finished object. I'm very excited that I finished this because it feels like a big project, even though it was just kind of using up bits and stuff that I had. I'm still not quite sure how to style it. And of course, now my microphone is kind of pulling it weird, so it's kind of sitting weird. And I'm going to try not to bump my mic too much, but it is finished in all its glory, all its fun colors. The white is very bright, but you know, I had to use it up. So there we go. So it's there, and the red is in there too, which also kind of matches, but kind of doesn't. Hopefully the mic's still good. This is the Riley Rose cowl, which is a pattern by Jennifer Lassonde, and I knit it out of a bunch of leftovers. In case you're new here, I am using up some of my oldest stash this year, as according to Ravelry. So in whatever order I put it in Ravelry, I'm sure some of it is older than what is here, but I'm going based on that because I need some sort of list, and that's what I have. So I used some Knit Picks Essential in Pine, which is this dark green color, and then I have Stroll in the blue topaz, Duchess Heather, white, Hollyberry, and Sprinkle Heather. And then I have some gray. This gray bit right here is Boss Lady Yarn Co. in Mechanics Wrench. And that was actually a skein that I won from something at some point in time. She doesn't dye yarn anymore, but she has some really cool colors. Anyway, I just have the gray, which I have like half a ball left. So who knows? Maybe that will come up in my leftovers to be used up at some point. All right. It is a very large cowl, and it just kind of goes over your head. And then hangs. Like I said, I'm not quite sure how to style it yet. Taylor and I have kind of been wearing it like a hood as well when we're chilly. So yeah, this might be going to Taylor. Who knows? That's my 13-year-old. She enjoys knitted objects every once in a while, mostly just around the house. Although she did wear one of my cowls to school the other day. She had a presentation and she wanted to look fancy, and that apparently made her look fancy. So, all right, that's it for finished objects because I have cast on so many things. It's kind of embarrassing actually because I went a little crazy, but let's get into it. Works in progress. My Fork in the Road socks, which are in my beautiful sister bag, have not seen zero love. No love at all. I don't even think I've knit a stitch on them, so we won't talk about them too much. But these are a Fork in the Road socks by Lara Neal, and I haven't gotten to the heel yet, which is the fun part. So it's just kind of basic at this point. The yarn is the Cozy Knitter in her Bliss base in the colorway It's My Birthday, and maybe I'll get some progress on those this week because I have a couple other projects, and I'm just going to shift my notes here so I can see them. My on-the-go project has been in my little triangle bag here, and I cast on a hat. So this is the weekend TV marathon hat by my friend E, who is Holloway on Ravelry. And I will link this and all my other projects down below in the links. Anything I talk about today, linked below. Okay, so it's a fun hat pattern. It's hard to see. It's there's a cable in there. And it took me probably like 2 times of doing the cable all the way around to really get it. But now I've got it memorized and I don't even need to look at the pattern. And I've finished my 3rd set of cables, and I'm pretty sure I've got 1 more, and then the crown decreases. It's got a nice big brim on it too. So, you know, it's really cool. It's a great pattern, well written, easy to follow. I'm tangled in the yarn. Anyway, this yarn is some Cascade 220 in the color Cranberry. So this was leftover from Taylor's Mrs. Weasley sweater that I made her for her 11th birthday. She is a Gryffindor, which red. So the sweater is red with gold letter on it. And yeah, so I have this skein left over plus another one maybe. I can't remember. More leftovers being used up. Hats are useful for anybody. So that will either be somebody in my family if they want it or a gift to somebody else. So yeah, I just saw the pattern, totally inspired immediately and cast on. It's also a free pattern, so winning. All right, so that was that. Next up is another new cast on. So since I finished this cowl that I'm wearing, which was using up my oldest yarn, which was this pine green color on the very edge here, my next yarn to use up was also some knit picks in this lovely color called Mermaid, and it is teal. I've got some weird lighting going on. I tried to fix it, but anyway, hopefully you're seeing it. This is like a very blue end of teal. Maybe aqua. Yeah. So I had in my queue to use this yarn for a cowl, which I wear a lot of cowls, so it makes sense. And I'm trying to untangle myself here so I can kind of show you it. And this is what I have so far. Hopefully you're seeing that. This is the Downtown Chicago cowl by Christy Becker. It is a long looped cowl, so you knit it around and around, but then you kind of drape it over and twist it. It's going to be much narrower but deeper than this one. So we'll see how I end up wearing it. There are a lot of stitches squished onto this needle. So it does look a little funny right now. I am excited to see it when it's done and off the needles. I got a little carried away on the ribbing and did more, and then I just omitted some of the plain rounds. So I'll have to remember, future self, do the reverse on the other end. Basically, I don't want to run out of yarn, so I'm going to knit. I have 2 50-gram balls that I've wound into this cake. It's all in one cake. So when I get to the halfway point, I will know how many rows I can do, and then I will do the reverse, basically the same amount of rows again with the other 50-gram ball. Hopefully I get through the cast off and then we're not playing yarn chicken. So this is a Knit Picks Essential, which is just their sock yarn, basically. I think it's pretty similar to the Stroll. It feels very similar to the Stroll. So that is that. This is in a bag that I actually made myself at some point. It's not perfect, but it's functional. It's nice and little and easy for me to kind of cart around the house. So I've been working on this a lot because this is a new cast on. So a new hat cast on, new cowl cast on, and if you watched on Instagram or you've been following for a while, I cast on the sweater. Okay, let me hold up some yarn here. So this is the yarn that I'm using. This is Fireweed Fiber Co. in the Cottonwood, which is a DK weight base. It is a 100% superwash merino 3-ply. So Cottonwood DK. It is so soft. I am so excited to wear this sweater. The yarn dye on it, it's hard to see when it's all balled up, but it's like, oh, it's just, I've been holding 2 skeins, but I don't even think that I needed to do that, honestly. It is just so nice. Let's get some of these ends out of the way so we can properly show you. The pattern that I'm using is called Favorite Flannel by Alicia Plummer. And there we have it. So it is bunched up at the bottom. I promise it's gonna fit. Once I get another inch or so, I don't know, I've gotten like 3 rows after the sleeves put on hold. Once I get a little bit more on here, I am gonna put it on try-it-on tubing and put it on. I did think about doing it now. You don't get the full idea unless you have a bit of done through here to figure out exactly how the sleeves are gonna fit. You'll go back later and do the neckline. So we start at the top here and work down, and then you'll do the neckline after. But yeah, it's so soft. I love this color so much. I'm so excited. So this was one of a few options that I had given. Can you guys see the texture on there? It's just perfect. It's perfect. I did a poll on Instagram to figure out which pattern to use for this. Now I've got yarn everywhere. I'm going to put that down. I did an Instagram poll to figure out which pattern, and it was very close between this one, Favorite Flannel, and Gentle Morning. I can't remember who that's by, but it is a cardigan. It's also a bit oversized, and it has a big shawl collar on it. I would be playing Yarn Chicken a little bit with that one, so I opted for the Favorite Flannel because they were very close, because there were some votes from Facebook and some from Instagram, and some people commented, whereas some people put it in the poll. Maybe people double dipped, I don't know. But so it was very close, and Gentle Morning is still on my list to make, but it will have to be with a different yarn because this is working out so great. I don't know how many times can I say great about a new cast on, but I'm very excited. I finally cast on another sweater, and yeah, I'm excited. It's great. It's all great. For stash, maybe next week, because it'll be it'll be like the 7th or the 5th or whatever, someday next week when I record. I'll show you my Fireweed Fabric Co. monthly club yarn for March. And then I think that's it for stash. I am using up my oldest stash. The mermaid color, the cowl that I'm making is my oldest stash. I've got some other plans for some of the other older stuff, but I'm trying really hard just to have a few projects. Right now, I currently have 4 projects on the go. The weekend hat is almost finished. The cowl, I am just rocketing through that. So I just need to, maybe finish up 1 and then I'll just have 3. I have my granny's blanket, but that doesn't count. That's just like, it's in the background. We're not going to count that one. It's in my list, but I never talk about it. I'm not participating in any events right now, although I enjoy watching other people participate in events. I've got none currently that I'm participating in, and I do have a couple next on my needles, but not quite organized enough to talk about them today. But just know in the future there are plans. In books, I have not finished any books this week, which feels very odd, but I'm very close to finishing K is for Killer by Sue Grafton. I have to get back to the Wheel of Time series. I have the physical book, which is kind of what's stopping me this week. I've just been focused on like knitting projects in the evening, and reading a physical book and knitting is not something that I am accomplished at. I do have a couple, I'm looking around at my reading corner, which is over there. I do have a couple like pillows and things I can set up so that I can do it. I just find it difficult to do and not enjoyable, so I don't do it. But maybe this weekend, get some good reading time in, alternate between like reading time, knitting time, reading time, knitting time. I'm rambling now, so I'm going to go. We will see you guys again next week. Bye.